Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill late Saturday night, and Notre Dame gets it done. And let me just start with this. This is a college football playoff team. If Notre Dame does, in fact, run the table and finishes the season 10-2, you are out of your gosh darn mind if you leave them out of the college football playoffs. I would urge the committee to watch this football team play and look how complete they are and say, this is one of the best teams that we see in the sport. And we saw that Saturday night against USC. My biggest takeaway here, Dylan, and it's the same takeaway I had with USC back against Illinois a couple of weeks ago. USC's a year away, man. Like, they have not recruited the defensive line well enough to go on the road and win these football games. And Notre Dame was just moving bodies. When you have the ability to run the football the way Notre Dame ran it, it's really hard to win. And I think Jaden's one of the best quarterbacks. And I think USC has one of the best offenses that you see in the country. It's really hard to win these caliber of games when you don't have the adequate bodies along the defensive line, specifically on the inside, specifically when it comes to stopping the run. Here's the good news for the USC fans. Chad Bowden has come into USC and is trying to fix that issue, but you can't snap your fingers because guess what Chad Bowden just did for the last couple of years at Notre Dame? He built this program along the lines of scrimmage, and dude, monster shout out to Notre Dame's offensive line. Like, they're so banged up. Guys are coming in and out of this unit, and they continue to play such good football. I mean, Joe Otting at center. We talked about, hey, a storyline. Watch the new starting game. Nope, that wasn't a storyline. I mean, Billy was playing on pretty much one leg all game. Looked like one of the best guards in the country. This is a very well-coached unit. It's a deep unit. That's what's separating Notre Dame, it feels like, late in the season. I got a lot more takes. I'm excited to get into this one. Before we do, and as always, USC fans, Notre Dame fans, hey, man, let it fly in the comment section. Late Saturday night, let it rip. And I know some of I'm on Twitter with y'all. I know some of these fan bases don't get along. Y'all can let it rip in the comment section. In my personal opinion, this was, and I just watched 12 hours of college football, man. I did not move my butt from the couch all day. This was one of the more impressive football games I've watched today. I had two of the better teams in the country. Let it fly. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, I will give you the T-box. I apologize for the long intro on a Saturday night. What you got for us? Biggest takeaways from this football game?
Yeah, I'd probably second you, and I don't really see how Notre Dame, frankly, loses another game in this season. Like, obviously, it's not a particularly difficult schedule, which will help and hurt them, obviously, in the conversation down the line. But I look at what Miami is, what Texas A&M is especially. Those are two such good teams. And then I like USC's a good team, too, and honestly, Notre Dame, wall-to-wall, pretty much in control of this game. And you said it. Like, the fact that Notre Dame can pretty much do whatever they want on offense, and they can win in any way. They can throw the ball and be explosive like they were against A&M. They can obviously grind you down and still be explosive when you're running the ball like they were today against USC. That's probably what stands out is this offense is really, really good, and their defense might be turning the corner a little bit. Like, there's still some problems, but USC wasn't running up and down on them. Like, I thought their defensive line probably played better than we've seen it for a lot of times.
USC had a really, really good first two drives of scripted plays. And look, this USC offense is one of the best in the country, right? And so I thought Notre Dame made it hard on them, and USC made some plays, and they got some really good. I do think Notre Dame's defense is starting to turn the corner a little bit. Eyeball test, this is going to be a very difficult. You said it best, still. We're seeing a lot of teams across the country be a little bit inconsistent, show some kind of rather big flaws. And we're talking about some of the best teams in the country, the teams that are ranked in the top 10. Notre Dame, where's that flaw? They can beat you.
There certainly is, because there have been too many times where their secondary just isn't playing well enough. And
I thought they were –
like today, I like at least they were being more competitive, and they were taking penalties, which you probably don't want to see. But you didn't see the bust in the same way. Like, USC pretty much had to make the plays for the most part. A couple for sure. But it wasn't like what it was early on in the year where it's like, oh, you're just leaving guys wide open. You're not tackling. You're not doing the basics. Like, yes, there were some moments where they lost their composure a bit in the back end and just weren't playing the ball. but it does feel like they're becoming more competitive and a little bit more like in control of themselves in the back end now.
You are seeing this defense get better. I firmly believe that. And Dill, you have to, if we're gonna go over to the defense this quick, dude, Leonard Moore, he was awesome, man. Mekhi Lemon, and we'll talk about it because I was a little frustrated with Lincoln Riley. I felt like we could get a little bit more creative with how we were using Mekhi Lemon. I think Mekhi Lemon finished with 5 catches in this game. That's just not enough. He's the best, one of the best players in all the sport. Massive hat tip to Leonard Moore. Just
You
when
don't
they
see guys follow around anymore. Like that's a
no,
good time. You
it's
see it a
dog
little bit
stuff,
in the
man.
NFL, but I don't know that you see it really at all in college. And he pretty much did it all game. And in really, for the most part, like Mekhi Lemon wasn't just that kill switch in big moments
No,
where you knew you could get him the ball. Like Leonard Moore, for the most part, and I know he hit a big player too, maybe really kind of shut him down for the most part tonight.
it was really impressive. Arguably the most important player, probably outside of Jeremiah Love. Outside of Jeremiah Love, one of the most important players for Notre Dame's win. And nobody has figured out Mekhi Lemon. I mean, Dill, we're Michigan fans. We just watched Mekhi Lemon just put belt to bottom for 4 quarters against Michigan's defense last weekend. Notre Dame came out with a really good plan, and that was Leonard Moore on Mekhi Lemon. They did a really good job taking him out of the game a little bit. Here's the one thing, and Dill, I think Notre Dame can be really good because of what you said. Really multidimensional, can beat you in a lot of different ways. That's what makes this team feel a little bit different than last year, right? Notre Dame had really one avenue to beating you last year. If you wanted to get into a shootout, Notre Dame probably wasn't going to win many of those football games. Notre Dame can do that this year. They have that kind of offense. I want to see that pass rush, man. I want to see that pass rush take a little bit more of a step. You know, guys like Bubakar coming off the edge, Bryce Young. If this unit can take a little bit of a step getting after the passer, because I was really pleased with what they did against the run. This is a team that not only a playoff team, like they can compete for national championship. I firmly believe that.
Well, and that's where I think you saw some things you like getting Kingston Viliamu-Asa
Yes,
involved a little bit and
yes,
like generate
yes.
something because there was like a stretch of the early part of the season where they were getting nothing and it didn't feel like they found anything.
Yeah.
Like I do think these linebackers and even like your safeties, nickels, like those are good blitzing players.
Yep.
I did think they were able to generate at least something to be a bit disruptive for USC because we've seen too many games where there was like nothing. You just had nothing.
I do want to compliment those linebackers fitting the run too.
They were
That's
good.
one thing we're not really talking. USC had a top 5 rushing attack in the country heading into this matchup. King Miller, 18 carries for 70 yards. USC averaged 2.3 yards per carry on the night. It's not an easy rushing attack to slow down, even without Wayman Jordan. Notre Dame did that. You want to flip over to USC, Dill. I know Jaden made some mistakes here. I thought Jaden was solid, and I felt like when the rain really started coming down and USC struggled to run the football, it was getting harder to drop back and kind of dice this Notre Dame team up. What is your biggest takeaway from USC moving forward here?
I mean, I think you see how important those running backs are. Like again,
I
King
think so
Miller is a
too,
good
man.
player, but like you probably do need that guy, like that Wayman Jordan, who when things aren't like blocked up, because at the end of the day, for in that Michigan game, like Michigan just wasn't doing anything right, and like the blocking was really good, and there were big holes, and like King
Yeah.
Miller was making things happen. You see some of the
Yep.
burst and the acceleration, but I wouldn't say Michigan was testing him in any sort of
I
way. Today, you probably would have needed like a little bit more individual greatness from your running back to make things happen.
Here's how I'll say. I think we agree. I'm gonna say it a little bit different. USC found themselves in a lot of second and longs, not a lot of ideal down and distances, right? And I think that's where you miss Wayman Jordan, right? King Miller can hit the home runs. Like when he wants to get going, he can accelerate. The biggest question I had for him was what do the hard yards look like? You know, turning a 2nd and 9 to a 2nd and 7. You know, turning a 3rd and 5 into a 3rd and 2. Wayman Jordan does that, man. Like runs behind his pads, takes on contact really well, always
Like,
turning his
really
legs.
how good he is in the hole, like, and how quick
Yes.
he is in his ability. Again, he's not like this ultimate power back like Jerome Bettis or something, but like really
No.
shifty in the hole.
Yeah.
Really does a good job finding space when there isn't a ton of it. I think
Yes.
you're right. At the end of the day, like there's a drop off for sure between King
Yeah.
and Wayman Jordan, what you have.
It's not a shot at King Miller either. It's like Wayman Jordan's been one of the best backs in the country. They missed that because they struggled to run the football, but more importantly than that, they struggled to stay on schedule, right? I I don't think Lincoln Riley had one of his best games of his USC tenure last weekend against Michigan. I don't think this was one of Lincoln Riley's best games. You know, in a couple of things that stood out. One, we were just not creative enough with Mekhi Lemon. And again, hat tip to Leonard Moore, did a really good job taking away Mekhi Lemon. There are so many different ways you can use this cat, man. Send him in motion. You can put him in the backfield. He's your best player on your roster. You have to give him more opportunities to impact the football game. And Dill, one of the times they did was an end around where they want him throwing the football and it's pouring rain, man. I get it's hindsight 2020, right? And if that play worked and you popped a touchdown, we'd be all Lincoln Riley's a god, right? I just don't know if I love that on the road in the fourth quarter, coming off an explosive play in the rain. I don't know if I love all that ball handle and putting that on Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon's got to be better there. Certainly can't fumble that football. I don't know if I love that in the rain. Here's the other thing, Dill. Struggling to run the football. Jaden's legs a little bit more. I mean, I'm not saying Jaden
But he's
is.
also got to be a little bit more willing, I thought, to run.
I
I thought
agree.
there were some
I
times
agree.
you could at least given yourself a 2nd and 5
Yeah.
instead of a 2nd and 10. And I
Yeah.
feel like there were like a few moments where you just felt like more hesitant than I would have thought necessary to like just take it down and run the ball.
And we're probably being a little nitpicky, right? 396 total yards on the road in the rain against Notre Dame. Like that should give you a shot to win the football game. I did like what I saw from Tanuk Hines, man. Like he's gonna be, I think, a really good football player for USC. Didn't get the tight ends involved. That was something that's been monster for USC. And it's not like they featured the tight ends, but the tight ends always seem to come up big in big moments. Didn't really get the tight ends involved much in this football game either. But the bigger story was the defense, right? When you give up 306 total yards, Notre Dame averaged what, 7 year over? Well, I mean, Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love were averaging what, 10 yards a pop. You ain't gonna win many football games, and that, I guess, two things I'll say. Number one, I don't know why we were just leaving our two safeties high, right? It became very, very like, if I'm Coach Lynn, and look, Coach Lynn has forgotten more football than I'll ever know. Why aren't you just forcing Notre Dame to
Well,
throw the
that's
football?
where I think, like, yeah, you can say that in hindsight, but like, I don't know. This has been a really explosive passing attack, and like, you don't have the greatest boundary corners in the world. Like USC,
I
personnel standpoint, frankly,
They're limited.
unless they have an easy answer against a team like Notre Dame who can really attack in all ways. Like
I
that's
agree, but if you watch them just run the football for 3 straight quarters, like, okay, let's just try something different here, right? Let's drop a safety in the box and make CJ, because CJ Carr was not playing his best football tonight, right? I feel like I would have tried to force a little bit more of Notre Dame's hand throwing the football and Dill, it did not take us very long to realize USC is struggling to stop the run with safeties high. Drop one into the box, man. I think you have to try to do that. And they didn't. Linebackers were not fitting the run the right way. And again, it's just, you don't have enough guys on the defensive line. It's the same conversation. I don't want to spend that much time on it. It's the same conversation we had a couple of weeks ago against Illinois, man. Like, you go out and pay Keyshawn Silver all this money. You can't find difference makers at that position in the portal. You just can't. You tried to get Keyshawn Silver. You tried to get Jah Jarrett. They just ain't those guys, man, right? Look, Chad Bowden, who I know Notre Dame fans know as well, he has come in and he is doing his best to fix the problem. But you can't just snap your fingers and fix the problem. You have to start operating right. And if USC does that, Dill, I do think the future is very, very bright for this program. I really do. It's just not going to be an overnight fix. And I think I think a lot of USC fans who follow this sport closely, they probably understand that.
yeah, because you're looking at a very complete Notre Dame team versus a like highfalutin or like very highly skilled in certain areas and really, really good and like very probably weak in certain areas as well. Notre Dame, they just don't have those holes right now. And CJ Carr, again, that's probably the most encouraging thing is he probably had his worst game of the season and it really don't miss a beat. Like you can still move the ball pretty much at will against, again, not the greatest defense maybe in the world, but not like a pushover defense. Like you've seen some pretty good performances from USC.
Yeah, and I think USC has a chance to finish this season strong, man. You go on the road to Nebraska, I believe, following a bye week, and that looks very, very winnable for you. I'd pick USC right now in that game. I believe it's Northwestern, Iowa. Then you go on the road and play Oregon. That's the game. You got a playoff game, right? On the road at Oregon. You go win that. You take care of business with the rest of your schedule. 10-2 with a road win against Oregon probably gets you in. And look, this USC team's good, man. Like, what did Michigan just do against Washington? Right? I really do think USC is good. They're just not quite there against a team that's been built like Notre Dame's been built the last couple of years. Really fun game. And again, what I would stress here, though, and I watched a lot of football today. This was a really impressive game with two of the better quarterbacks in the country. And I get CJ Carr did not play very well, but that shows you how good Notre Dame can be. There's a lot of football teams across the country that need their quarterback to play great in order to win football games. Notre Dame ain't one of them. And you know you got a quarterback that is capable of great because we've seen this kid play like that. But being multidimensional like Notre Dame is really, really important. I think you have that kind of team. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.